Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be jumping into the book of Nehemiah.
All right.
And this is a story with, leadership,
Yeah.
faith, social justice, and really all the drama you could possibly ask for.
Lots of drama.
We've got timelines, character breakdowns, analyses, even a quiz.
I love a good quiz.
We've got it all today.
That's right. All the sources. Yeah.
So what's really cool about Nehemiah is that it combines this, physical rebuilding of a city
yeah.
with all of the, complicated aspects of spiritual renewal. And so you see how one person really can make a difference
Right.
in impacting a whole nation.
It's pretty inspiring.
Yeah, so Nehemiah, our main character, he is
Yeah.
serving King Artaxerxes I of Persia,
Mm-hmm.
and he's the king's cupbearer.
Right. Not just some random guy.
Right.
Yeah.
You would think that would be
Easy job. Yeah.
a pretty cushy job.
Yeah.
But actually, it's super dangerous.
Right. Because
I mean, just think about it.
you're the taste tester.
You're the literal taste tester.
For the king.
Yeah.
You got to make sure there's no poison in the king's food and drink.
Exactly. Talk about high stakes.
Yeah, for sure. But on the other hand, it shows how much the king trusted Nehemiah.
Right. And it's a trust that is going to be huge later on.
Yeah. Absolutely crucial.
It's interesting how, it's easy to just kind of skip over that in the text, but
Yeah.
he's holding the king's literal life in his hands.
Yeah.
So this position isn't just, serving wine. It's like,
Right. Exactly. Like this is a
Right.
real position of responsibility.
so let's talk about Jerusalem.
Okay. Yeah.
What news does Nehemiah get about the city?
He hears that Jerusalem's walls are in ruins,
No.
leaving the city super vulnerable.
It's not just physical. It's
Yeah, it's symbolic, right?
Yeah.
It's like a
gaping wound.
representing
Yeah.
how fragile their freedom is after exile.
And then Nehemiah's reaction to this is super interesting.
Yeah.
So it says that he's deeply saddened.
Yeah. It's more than just personal grief.
It's way more than that. Yeah.
Yeah, because he understood what those broken walls meant.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't just an inconvenience.
Right.
They represented spiritual vulnerability. Like their whole community was at risk.
There's this idea of it's more than just we got to rebuild this wall. It's like everything's at stake.
Exactly.
And then he fasted and prayed,
Mm-hmm.
demonstrating that this was, super serious to him.
Yeah, this was more than just a construction project to him.
Wow. I can't imagine how much responsibility
Yeah.
he must felt.
Yeah.
But this is where his position really pays off.
Yeah.
So he goes to the king
Right.
and asks if he can rebuild the walls.
Pretty bold move.
Yeah, and the king says yes.
I know, it's amazing. He doesn't just give permission.
Wow.
He gives him materials, resources, even safe passage.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it shows how strong the relationship was and that the king thought Nehemiah could do it.
It really is a testament to his character, his integrity, and his ability.
For sure.
So you got the king's blessing
Uh-huh.
and tons of supplies.
That's right.
So does Nehemiah just,
Yeah. Does he just head straight to Jerusalem?
go right to Jerusalem and start
A big parade.
getting his hands dirty.
No, not quite. He gets there in secret
Oh,
and he inspects the walls at night.
he's like a spy.
Yeah, like a secret mission.
Yeah.
He's not just a man of prayer.
Right.
He's a strategist.
He's thinking things through.
Exactly.
So he's scoping things out.
Yeah, checking out how big the task is.
Yeah.
And maybe trying to avoid any unwanted attention.
Yeah, you don't want to make people mad before you even start.
Exactly. You don't want to ruffle any feathers.
Especially because, of course, there's going to be people who are against this.
Oh, yeah.
Sanballat,
Yeah.
Tobiah, and Geshem,
The antagonists of our story.
our antagonists.
They do not want this wall rebuilt.
So tell me about them. Who were these guys?
Yeah. All right. So Sanballat was the governor of Samaria, which is just north of Jerusalem.
Okay.
Tobiah was an Ammonite official,
Mhm.
and Geshem, an Arab leader.
Okay. So they're all
So they represent these surrounding powers
right.
who saw Jerusalem as a threat.
Yeah. And I imagine there's a ton of historical baggage there, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Political and religious reasons.
Yeah.
They did not want to see Jerusalem get strong again.
So it's not just, they don't like Nehemiah.
Right. It's bigger than that.
It's this bigger power dynamic at play.
Exactly.
So how do they try to stop him? Do they, send in armies?
Well, at first, they use more subtle tactics.
Okay.
Like they mock him, they try to intimidate him,
Oh, no.
and they even try to trick him.
Really?
Yeah, they act like they want to negotiate, but it's really a trap.
Oh, so it's like psychological warfare.
Exactly.
To try to...
Trying to make him look bad, get the people to lose faith in him.
Oh, man, that's tough. I mean, so he's getting pressure from...
Oh, yeah, pressure from all sides.
All sides.
Yeah.
Does he back down?
No way. This is where you see what a great leader he is.
Okay.
He organizes everyone, sets up defenses, and they're literally working with a trowel in one hand and a sword in the other.
He is not messing around.
No, he's not.
Like prayer and action, both together.
Yeah, exactly. He's got faith, but he's also practical.
Right.
He's not just going to sit around and wait for a miracle.
But he's also reminding them,
yeah,
have faith in God.
Always reminding them that this is about something bigger.
Right. This isn't just about a wall.
Yeah, it's about God's plan.
So he's a man of action, but also deeply spiritual.
Absolutely.
It's so cool how he kind of
it's a good
brings those two things together. But it's not just, you know, outside forces he's got to deal with, right?
Right. There's trouble within the community, too.
There's some internal conflicts, especially with, our sources mention, usury.
Yeah, and this is where you see what Nehemiah really cares about.
Yeah. It's not just about building a wall.
Right.
It's about rebuilding their society.
So he sees this injustice, and what does he do about it?
He calls out those wealthy families.
Yeah.
He reminds them that he hasn't burdened them with taxes. And he's like, why are you exploiting your own people?
I bet that was tense.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So he's
putting his reputation on the line to stand up for what's right.
And then he uses his knowledge of the law.
Yeah, he doesn't just appeal to their sense of fairness.
Right.
He reminds them what the law says about usury.
So he's not just a charismatic leader.
Yeah.
He's knows his stuff.
He knows the law inside and out.
So did he get those families to change?
He did. He gets them to forgive the debts.
Wow.
And even free the people who were stuck in debt slavery.
That's such a...
Yeah, it shows how much he cared about justice.
Powerful example.
Yeah.
So we've got external threats, internal conflicts.
But what about the actual wall?
Well, guess what? They finish it.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and super fast. 52 days.
52 days.
52 days.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they were probably celebrating like crazy.
I bet.
But it's important to remember that this wasn't just about bricks and mortar.
Right.
It was a symbol of everything they had overcome.
The resilience, their hope.
Exactly. It showed what people can do when they work together.
Yeah, so we've got a fortified city. People have overcome all these obstacles.
That's right.
But that's not the end of the story.
Nope, the story's not over yet.
What happens next?
Well, now they got to focus on rebuilding their hearts.
Oh, wow.
And that's where Ezra comes in.
Ezra, right. The priest and scribe.
Yeah, we talked about him briefly before.
Yeah, so what's his role in all of this?
Ezra's all about upholding the law of Moses. He's the one who leads the spiritual revival.
Okay.
And it all starts with a public reading of the law.
Okay, so before we jump into that, let's talk about how the book itself is structured.
Okay, yeah.
Because I know that might sound a little boring, but it actually can help us understand what's going on.
Well, the structure's important. It's like the wall itself, carefully built.
Okay.
So how is it structured? Think of it as a journey with different phases.
Okay, the journey.
Yeah, and each phase represents a different challenge or victory. So you can see how Nehemiah's leadership develops.
Okay, I'm interested.
Okay, so the first part is all about Nehemiah's distress.
Yeah.
And his plea to the king.
Right, that's how he started.
It shows his compassion and his faith.
Yeah.
And then he arrives in Jerusalem secretly.
Right, like a chess move.
Exactly. He's strategic.
Yeah.
And then sections 3 to 7 are all about the rebuilding.
Okay.
All the challenges, the drama, the triumphs.
Like facing the opposition and the internal conflict.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you see Nehemiah as a real leader.
Yeah, he really steps
He
up.
inspires, he organizes, he defends.
He's a builder, literally.
Yeah, literally and figuratively.
So these first 7 sections really lay the foundation.
Yeah, they set the stage.
For everything else. We see Nehemiah go from cupbearer to leader.
That's right.
And they pull off this incredible feat of construction.
It's amazing what they accomplished.
And
then, bam!
Section 8, the wall is finished in 52 days.
I just can't get over that.
It's incredible, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine the relief, the joy?
Yeah, it's like a symbol of hope, you know?
Yeah, like they can do anything.
Yeah.
It's a testament to the human spirit.
But like you said before, Nehemiah knows it's not just about the physical.
Right.
It's about rebuilding their hearts, too.
Yeah, that's where Ezra comes in.
Right.
He's the one who helps them rebuild their spirits.
Okay, so before we get into that,
yeah,
let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back to explore this transition from physical rebuilding to spiritual revival.
Sounds good. Okay, so we're back, and we're really getting into the heart of the book of Nehemiah now. This spiritual renewal.
Yeah,
that the wall is complete.
How the story shifts gears.
So remind me, where does Ezra fit in again?
So Ezra, he had come to Jerusalem before Nehemiah.
Right.
Leading a group of exiles back home.
Okay.
And he was a scholar, super passionate about the law of Moses. And he's key in bringing back that religious fervor.
So it all kind of comes together with this public reading of the law.
Exactly. It's like a pivotal scene.
I can imagine that.
Yeah, the whole community gathered together, listening to Ezra read these words that had shaped their faith for generations.
That's powerful stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So what was their reaction to hearing this?
Well, it was profound. And, you know, there were a lot of different reactions. Some people were weeping, like overwhelmed with emotion.
Wow.
They realized they hadn't been following the law.
Yeah.
Others were rejoicing. They felt this renewed sense of faith.
So it was kind of like this mirror.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Reflecting their, shortcomings.
Yeah.
But also their potential.
Exactly.
Okay, so you've got the reading of the law and the wall is finished. And this leads to a desire for reform.
That's right. Like a fire was lit.
Okay. So Nehemiah and Ezra, they start making some changes.
Yeah. They want to purify their religious practices.
Okay. So like what kind of reforms?
Well, they deal with things like intermarriage with foreigners, which was seen as a threat to their faith.
Okay.
They also made sure people were observing the Sabbath,
right.
like taking it seriously as a time for rest and connecting with God.
So these changes, they were impacting both personal and communal life.
Absolutely. It was about individual behavior and the whole community.
It's really interesting how they're trying to, transform everything.
Nehemiah knew that real change had to come from both inside and out.
So it's not just like, decrees.
Right. It's not just about words.
From on high.
He was making sure things actually happened.
Yeah, our sources talk about how Nehemiah was very involved.
Oh, yeah, he was hands-on.
In putting these into practice.
For sure.
Speaking of putting things into practice, remember Tobiah?
Oh, yeah, the Ammonite official who was against the rebuilding.
Yeah, what about him?
Well, he had actually gotten himself a room in the temple complex.
What?
Yeah, sneaky, right?
Yeah.
He used his connections with the priestly family.
Oh, man, like trying to...
Undermining them from the inside.
Undermine them.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, so what does Nehemiah do?
Well, he finds out about it.
Yeah.
And he's not happy.
I bet not.
He has all of Tobiah's stuff thrown out at the temple.
He's like, nope, not going to happen.
Yeah, he's like, this is a sacred space.
Right.
Not your personal storage unit.
So Nehemiah is really balancing these political and religious roles.
Oh, yeah. He's walking a tightrope.
Yeah, he understands that, you got to defend your faith.
Right.
But also be smart about it.
Exactly. And be aware of those trying to sabotage you.
Okay, so we've got the wall build.
Yeah.
We've got the reading of the law, sparking revival.
Yeah.
And then these reforms.
Yeah.
It's like this three-pronged approach.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
To rebuilding.
He tackled the physical, spiritual, and social aspects.
It's really inspiring.
Yeah, it is.
To think about one person leading his people through all this.
It's a story that still resonates with people today.
Right. It really shows the power of leadership and resilience.
Absolutely.
But, after all of this, the wall, the revival, the reforms.
Yeah.
Did it last?
That's a great question.
Did it stick?
And it's one the book kind of addresses.
Really? How so?
Well, after all the reforms, there's all these genealogies and lists.
Okay, genealogies and lists. That sounds...
I know, right? Sounds kind of boring.
Yeah.
But they actually have a purpose.
Okay.
They're meticulously listing every family and their lineage.
I mean, why?
It's about showing continuity.
Right.
Like, these are the people who make up our community.
Right.
It's about their shared history.
Okay, so they're reminding everyone.
Yeah, like, this is who we are.
That they belong.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then we get to the dedication of the wall.
Okay.
It's a huge celebration.
I bet.
Music, processions, the whole shebang.
Yeah, they deserve a party.
Right. It's like the culmination of all their hard work.
Yeah, but you said there's some foreshadowing, too.
Yeah, there's this sense that the journey's not over.
Oh, what do you mean?
So during the celebration, the Levites lead the people in confessions.
Oh, okay.
They admit their past mistakes, and they promise to follow God's ways.
So even while celebrating, they're acknowledging that they're not perfect.
Exactly. Like, staying on the right path takes work.
Right, right.
And then we see Nehemiah make even more reforms.
He doesn't stop.
No, he's making sure they're actually living out the law.
So it's like a constant process of improvement.
Yeah, like rebuilding isn't a one-time thing.
Yeah.
It's ongoing.
So is that how the book ends?
Not quite.
Okay.
After 12 years in Jerusalem, Nehemiah goes back to Persia.
He leaves.
Yeah, he has to go back to his duties.
Wow. After all he did.
But it's not like he's abandoning them.
Right.
It's more like he's laid the groundwork.
Okay.
He's given them the tools.
Yeah.
Now it's their turn to keep going.
I bet it was hard to leave.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So the book ends with Nehemiah's accomplishments.
Yeah, a testament to his faith and his dedication.
It's really a story about so much more than just a wall.
Right. It's about faith, resilience, the human spirit.
It's amazing how something written so long ago
Yeah.
can still be so relevant.
It's like it speaks to something deep inside us.
And it's not just about reading it.
Right.
It's about really engaging with it.
Yeah, asking questions, making
Yeah.
connections to our own lives.
So go read Nehemiah. But don't just read it.
Yeah.
Wrestle with it.
Think about it.
Ask yourself, what does it mean to me?
Exactly.
Okay, before we wrap up our deep dive into Nehemiah, we need to talk about the other people in this story.
Oh, yeah, the supporting cast.
Besides Ezra,
Right, all the allies and adversaries.
they really add to this whole drama.
Yeah, it's like a tapestry of different characters.
Okay, let's meet some of these folks and see what they bring to the story.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so let's jump into this supporting cast in the book of Nehemiah. We've got Ezra, but our sources talk about all these other people too.
Yeah, it's like a whole ensemble cast.
Allies, adversaries.
A mix of loyalties, oppositions.
Okay, so who are some of the people on Nehemiah's side? Like his main supporters?
Well, you've got Hanani, Nehemiah's brother.
Right.
He's the one who first tells him about how bad things are in Jerusalem.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He represents that family bond, that shared concern for their homeland.
It's like having that person you can always rely on.
Exactly. Someone who's always got your back.
And then you've got the nobles and officials.
Yeah, they really rallied behind Nehemiah.
They're like, we're with you.
Giving their resources, their expertise.
Wow.
They show that real leadership needs a good support system.
It's like a whole community effort.
That's right. Everyone working together for a common goal.
So what about the people who were against Nehemiah? We talked about Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem.
Right, the main antagonists.
But were there any others?
Oh, yeah, there were a few more lurking in the shadows.
Oh, no.
Trying to mess things up.
Okay, like who?
Well, there's Shemaiah, for example.
Oh,
He tries to trick Nehemiah into hiding in the temple.
Oh, why?
Out of fear. He wanted to make Nehemiah look like a coward.
Oh, that's just messed up.
Yeah, it shows that even when you're trying to do good,
Yeah.
people can turn on you.
Yeah, you never know people's true motives.
Exactly. It's a reminder to be discerning, to trust your gut.
But Nehemiah, he sees right through it.
Yeah, he's got his eyes on the prize.
Okay, but what about those who weren't exactly for or against him?
Right, the ones who kind of complicate things.
Yeah, like those in-betweeners.
Yeah, so there are some people within the Jewish community itself.
Okay.
They weren't totally against Nehemiah,
Yeah.
but they weren't exactly on board either.
So he's dealing with internal divisions too.
Oh, yeah, it's not just about outside pressure.
Yeah, it's like everyone has an opinion.
Exactly, and it shows how tough it can be to lead a diverse group.
Right, it's not like everyone's going to agree all the time.
And that's where real leadership comes in.
Finding a way to bring people together.
Yeah, to bridge those differences.
So he's building bridges, not just walls.
I like that, building bridges.
Okay, so was there anyone else who made things a little tricky?
Well, there's Eliashib, the high priest.
Okay.
His actions weren't necessarily bad,
Yeah.
but they did cause some tension.
Oh, how so?
Well, he let Tobiah, the Ammonite official, stay in a room in the temple complex.
Wait, what?
Yeah, can you believe that?
That's crazy. So it's like there's this conflict
Yeah, like a power struggle.
between Nehemiah, the governor,
Right.
and Eliashib, the high priest.
Yeah, it shows how complicated things can get when religious and political authority clash.
So what does Nehemiah do?
Well, he stands his ground, but he's respectful. He
Sure.
makes it clear that Tobiah can't stay there.
Right, the temple is sacred.
Exactly, and Nehemiah understands that.
So he's firm, but also diplomatic.
Yeah, he's got that balance.
He knows when to push and when to be more careful.
Exactly. It's about finding that middle ground.
Yeah, it's about respecting boundaries and upholding values.
Absolutely. That's what true leadership is all about.
Wow, we have covered so much today.
I know, right?
From Nehemiah's leadership to the book's structure
Yeah.
and all these amazing characters.
They really make this story come alive.
It's incredible how a story from so long ago can still be so relevant today.
It's a testament to the power of these ancient texts.
I think that's why we love doing these deep dives.
Me too.
We get to explore these timeless stories, discover new insights,
and connect them to our own lives.
So if you haven't already, go read Nehemiah.
Yeah, definitely.
But don't just read it. Really think about it.
Engage with it. Ask questions.
Yeah. What does it mean for you?
What challenges you?
Maybe it'll inspire you to be a wall builder, too.
Yeah, in your own way.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep building.